What is up, everyone? Thank you for checking out Don't Say the F Word. We're a pro wrestling and combat sports podcast. We do not use the F word when we talk about professional wrestling. Shouldn't let your friends use it either. A little different. No Mark the Monster. Not in the studio, in the car. Thank you for anyone checking us out live right here on Instagram. Definitely appreciate you guys checking us out. Kind of impromptu. We don't usually do Wednesday's show, but I mean, a lot has happened since our last show on Sunday. Somehow the talk of pro wrestling is Jinder Mahal, and I'm having a hard time processing that Jinder Mahal is the talk of pro wrestling right now. He got given a title shot on Raw, which then led to Tony Khan, of all people, owner of AEW, taking to Twitter to have an opinion about Jinder Mahal getting a title shot and not being criticized because he's, I guess Jinder's lost every match he's had in the past year, and he's saying that people were criticizing that Hook's getting a title shot and not criticizing that Jinder's getting a title shot, which has gotten Jinder Mahal over with the internet wrestling community. Oh, illegal brother-in-law Joe joining us. Maybe Joe's getting in here. Has gotten Jinder Mahal over. If that doesn't get Tony Khan Booker of the Year, I mean, today's January 10th, and Tony Khan has done the unthinkable. He's gotten people to talk about Jinder Mahal. Nobody talks about Jinder Mahal, at least not in a positive way. Where's there ever been fan support for Jinder Mahal? It's just never been a thing. No one's ever been excited about Jinder Mahal in a story. No one's been pumped about Jinder Mahal getting title shots. I mean, his title reign was insanely forgettable, right? Like, it was memorable because it was bad, and whatever the storyline was with him and Nakamura, where Jinder kind of came off racist, that's Jinder Mahal's legacy. And now, I just recently seen someone shared something like, do you want to see Jinder Mahal as world champion? And nobody wants to see Jinder Mahal as world champion, right? I mean, does anybody want to see this? If somebody wants to see it, I would love to see that in the comments. There's no way people want to see Jinder Mahal as WWE world champion or beating Seth Rollins. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Joe, I don't know why I keep saying that I have to invite. I don't know. You joining? You not joining? I don't know what's happening. And Joe, you would like to see Jinder Mahal as champ. Joe, that doesn't make any sense. Why would you want to see that? Why on earth would you want to see Jinder as champ? Help me understand. Because I don't see a reason to put a world title on Jinder Mahal. Not right now. Like, right now, you want to see Jinder Mahal as a world champion in W. There we go.
Now, why would you want? I want to see Jinder champion.
Yeah, why would you want to see Jinder champion?
I'll tell you why I told everybody like a few years ago when he won that tournament for the championship spot when they had that battle royal for whoever won the WWE championship at that time. I was right. I was happy to see him win the championship. I was.
Well, I mean, it was a little outside of what we thought was going to happen. It was just to kind of drive that India market. Yeah. You know, no one thought he was going to beat Randy back then. But you want to see him as a champion today?
Today. Yes, today. Because, you know, you got to think about it. You see your normal average faces as champions. Orton, Cena, the average people that's always a champion. You never see the underdog, the one that nobody never thinks could be a champion. And you know what? When he came out last week as the former WWE champion, that was good marketing. It was great. I thought it was funny. I liked it. It was funny, but it was good. And then you see how they made him become like a really solid heel person right now, getting everybody's face. He ain't got the two brothers behind him right now. He coming out solo. And you know what? If he does beat Seth Monday, I mean, if he can come close, I'll still be happy because he had another title shot.
I mean, like Mark the Monster said whenever he did his little video, I mean, Jinder's definitely done his job getting over as a heel, right? Like the crowd's reaction, that was definitely the reaction to a strong heel character, for sure. No doubt about it. But I don't know. I can't see having him beat Seth now doesn't make any sense. It's Mania season. You could maybe do this in like September, sure. But man, if you had your 2024 bingo card and you had Jinder Mahal having the strongest opening to the year, I mean, he's had a segment with The Rock, he's getting a title shot, and he's been the talk of the internet wrestling community somehow. Like, I never would have in a million years. If our prediction show, I didn't predict shit about Jinder Mahal. Like, I had nothing. I wouldn't have thought he would have even been on Raw, to be honest with you. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
But you got to think about it. Triple H is in control now. Triple H is making everybody come surprised and think. You would have thought it would probably be Cena when they said a former WWE chief coming out. You would have thought it would have been like Randy or somebody.
I thought it was going to be Brock, honestly. Brock. I figured it'd be Brock Lesnar.
But y'all never thought about the time he had that belt. One time. Everybody forgets he had that belt. One time. He's still entitled as a former WWE champion.
That's because it's 100% forgettable. I mean, it's now sparked this whole conversation about tribalism in pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. And everyone's choosing a side, and you got so many people like making fun of Tony Khan for being such a mark and caring about wins and losses. Jonathan Coachman had something to say about it, and he pretty much shit on Tony Khan for talking about wins and losses because he said they used to make fun of fans who cared about it. I think that for a fan, the wins and losses matter. Do I think Tony Khan, as the owner of AEW, should be tweeting this stuff out and having these comments openly on a public forum? Maybe not. Actually, probably not. It's probably not what he should be doing because then he just gets shit on by personalities and even TV networks. We're poking fun at him for referencing Cage Match as a source for rating matches.
I just want to know what made him even do that. Like, talk about that yesterday.
You know what it is? Like, Tony Khan, his behavior is exactly that of everyone who grew up as a wrestling fan in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s, how we would respond if we owned the second largest wrestling promotion in the world. Like, it's exactly what you and I would do. We would look for an opportunity to try to, I guess, talk shit about the competition in a silly mark-ass way, which it's funny, but not for the owner to do. Vince isn't doing this. But whenever we talk tribalism in pro wrestling, it's really kind of the fault of our generation of wrestling fans. But I'm going to solely put the blame of tribalism in pro wrestling on one man and one man alone. I'm blaming Eric Bischoff. Yeah, it's Eric Bischoff's fault that there's tribalism in pro wrestling. To this day, it's Bischoff's fault. He created the silly facade in the 90s of this idea of it was WCW versus WWF. And it really wasn't. It's just that Eric Bischoff, when he was running WCW, he was a carny. He still is a carny in the world of pro wrestling. He was then, after working for Vern Gagne and getting the job with Ted Turner in WCW. His behavior was that of a carny. His silly ass thought he was going to put Vince out of business. Went on TV saying this silly promotional shit that he was putting Vince under and talking about ratings. Vince didn't do that. Vince was born into the carny lifestyle of pro wrestling, but was always a businessman. Eric Bischoff is not a businessman. He's a carny. And he's the reason why there's tribalism. To this day, he still instigates it by talking shit about AEW. Unwarranted, because AEW has been successful longer versus WWE, if you want to consider that. But they've been successful longer than Eric Bischoff was ever successful with WCW. Bischoff was only successful by his own standards for 83 weeks. AEW's been around for 5 years. Not trying to go head to head against the top dog WWE, but in moments they outperformed their equal brand in NXT. Eric Bischoff was only successful for 83 weeks by his own standards, and it's the only thing he gets to hang his hat on is 83 weeks. Everything else he did in WCW was a colossal failure. He uses numbers under the idea that numbers don't lie, right? That's his whole shit. Numbers never lie. Here's something I've learned in all my years of business and working for large corporations. Yeah, numbers never lie, but liars use numbers. You talk about the numbers that are good for your business. So he shits on Tony Khan for talking about the revenue that AEW has brought in and not talking about what it cost, and that the company has to be operating at a loss, which corporations do whenever they kick off anyway. But he's the same guy who uses numbers because he's a liar. He paints this picture that WCW was this crazy success, and the only reason why they ever failed was because they didn't get the revenue from their pay-per-views. They failed because he only had 3 good ideas, and the shit was only good for 83 weeks.
I say why they really failed.
Finger poke of doom?
And the creative control. He let everybody have creative control.
I mean, I recently seen that Eric Bischoff was saying something about any former WWE guys going to AEW wouldn't be used well and that it'd be a waste of their time. And he said this as if he knew how to use established stars in WCW. Eric Bischoff couldn't figure out how to book Bret Hart in 1997.
I think the only why he said that is because he's kind of tired of seeing all the former WWE guys go over there.
I agree with them that they don't do well with former WWE stars. I actually agree with Bischoff, and you know how much it pains me to say that.
Mm-hmm.
He's right on that. But it's because AEW is not the place for former WWE stars. The fan base actually doesn't really want that. They will say that they do, and they want people who they think weren't used well in WWE to come over there and be used well. If you're not used well in WWE, there's a few exceptions, very, very few though. But generally, if you can't be used well and you can't get over in WWE, you can't get over anywhere. Case in point is Miro. You're not getting him over anywhere.
You always.
And I like the guy. I think he's talented in the ring. But I don't know a booker on the planet that could get that guy over. He'd have to go to GCW, and maybe he could do the Matt Cardona thing and be the king of the Indies for a little while and do some death matches, and that would help get him over with a different fan base. AEW would never get Miro over. It's not the place for a guy like that. AEW can't get Claudio over. And he left WWE with fans thinking he should have been the guy beating Roman Reigns. He comes into AEW, can't get the guy over. Why?
It's like Vince said, Claudio is not a heavyweight champion material.
I kind of agree.
But he's good. He's good in the ring. But as Ben said, he's not a heavyweight championship material. He's just your mid card star. Even though the fans and you and everybody else get behind him, know he's a good athlete and everything. But if he could do better with the promo, maybe he could be a heavyweight champion. But really, realistically, he's not the heavyweight championship material guy.
Yeah. What did you think of Raw? Did you think Raw was a good show?
It was pretty good last night. I ain't gonna lie. I cracked up laughing about the whole R-Truth and Judgment Day. That was funny.
Very enjoyable. R-Truth is gold. They're going to have to put him in the group, right?
He already in the group. He beat JD.
But they're saying he's not in the group. They're not accepting it. So, I don't know. I think R-Truth will wind up being the guy who cost Damian Priest his cash in.
You know what? I was thinking about that the other night. Last night, I was thinking about the cash in. And I had this crazy idea what could happen. Now, this is crazy. Hear me out. Now, you got a year for the cash in. If you look at the time, he won that time around July 27th, 30th, somewhere in there.
Yeah, he only has till July.
But if you think about it, this Money in the Bank is on the first week of July. So what if you have two cash ins at the same time of Money in the Bank? Like somebody actually wins it, cash it in. The men's Money in the Bank happens the first thing. Then whoever championship match is, that person, he cashes in that night. But everybody forgets Damian Priest has the briefcase, and he cashes in and becomes the champion right there. So you got like
I still like my idea that contract's not in Damian Priest's briefcase.
It's in there.
I think you have Priest cash in, and I think he has a whatever interference match, whatever it is that happens. He wins. They open the briefcase. The contract's not in there. And you have Finn Balor standing behind him with the contract in his hand, and he takes out Damian Priest, and he takes that world title. You got a great swerve. You have a work of the crowd, and then you have an instant world title feud where Damian Priest can become a babyface while Finn Balor's the sinister heel, and he's been working Priest the whole time. He stole the contract. Whenever they gave Priest that senior Money in the Bank briefcase, they took the contract out of the original briefcase and never gave it to him. He's just never opened it to check. I really want them to. I hope somehow that idea gets to WWE and they use my idea. You guys don't even got to pay me. That's free. Free booking from your boy Jeremy. Like, that's just free.
Free booking. Okay. Free booking.
What'd you think of the Drew CM Punk promo?
Ooh, that was pretty good. I was expecting him to call out CM Punk on the very first shot, but he did.
You know, Punk referenced himself as Satan himself in that promo.
He did.
You know who else is the devil? MJF. Is that foreshadowing?
Yeah. And they out for injury for like the whole year.
Allegedly. You know, speaking of injuries, how come we haven't seen CM Punk wrestle on WWE TV? Is he nursing something? Like, why aren't they having him wrestle on TV?
You got the former champion come back, do like limited shows, then wrestle like house shows like Madison Square Garden or his hometown, or do pay-per-view, which he probably gonna fight in pay-per-view.
I think that's it. Just that they're going to hype up the idea of Punk's first televised match and try and use that to pop a rating.
I think they're going to do it when it matters. So let's just say the night after WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, he fights whoever cost him the match for the Rumble. If he loses the Rumble, whoever cost him.
Do you think Punk doesn't win the Royal Rumble? Are you changing your mind now?
It's a lot of toss up going on. It's like, oh, it's 50-50. It's like,
I think Punk has to win the Rumble.
I mean, then you got talking about how they want Cody Rhodes to be the second, be another person who had a back-to-back WrestleMania. Royal Rumble. So it's like, oh,
Yeah, but you said Cody ain't winning that title, man.
I did say that.
You said that's the story, right? Cody's not going to be champ.
That's the
Ever.
story. That's the story. Because I did. I went back and I looked. And you look at his dad. His dad did win a heavyweight championship, but not like a major, like he did in New Japan.
Yeah.
And you look,
I mean, Cody's been Ring of Honor world champion,
yeah,
but that don't count. You can say it. Say that don't count. Make them mad. Let's see those comments blow up on the live stream.
That don't count. You gotta think about it.
All the neckbeards are going to be mad.
I'm okay with everybody.
Someone's typing right now.
I'm okay with that. I'm just saying. That's the thing. Cody ain't gonna be like a WWE heavyweight champion. That's it. That's the story. He's gonna follow Dave's legacy, not be a champion.
I don't want that to be right, but I mean, whenever you pitch that on Sunday, and Cody's story is that he'll never be a world champion, I'm like, man. The Cuban Gorilla telling us that he thinks Cody will be world champion one day. So if you are checking us out Sunday, that episode is up on Spotify and YouTube and Rumble. But what Joe's theory is that Cody Rhodes' story is not about him winning a world title. Cody Rhodes' story is that no Rhodes will ever be WWE World Champion. And to finish the story is for Cody to never win the big one, just like his dad never won the big one. That's the long-term storytelling that Cody's actually doing. That his whole idea, the premise that he's going to win it, is part of the story. That's the work, that Cody's never going to be the champion. He's going to get so close a million times and just never make it happen. That's why he booked himself to never be world champion in AEW. That's why he's come back and has been the focal point in WWE, because that's the heartbreaking story, is that a Rhodes will never get that title. And I hate the fact that I think illegal brother-in-law Joe might be onto something.
I mean, you got to think about it.
Damn, this shit makes sense.
He ran a company. Dusty Rhodes ran a company, booked everything, just like Cody did. Now think about it. He could have told Ric Flair, like, 1, 2, 3, third time I'm winning the title. He chose not to. Look at AEW when he ran AEW. 1, 2, 3. He could have said, I'm gonna win the third time. But he made that stipulation where if he lost, boom, never to fight.
Cody could have booked a scenario in AEW where he won one of those brass ring ladder matches or something. He could have booked himself back into that title picture, and he never did. It was there. It was, and the crowd wanted him to do it. Like the fan base wanted him to turn heel and book himself back into the world title picture, and he chose not to. He chose to leave instead of booking himself to be world champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to me, that adds something to your idea that his story is never going to be the world champ. Just never going to happen. It's not in the cards. That doesn't have to be his legacy in WWE. He can be an eternal babyface without that belt. I do think if we go too long without him getting that belt, it sure would be beautiful for him to go back to AEW. It won't happen. But damn, that'd be cool.
It could happen. You never know.
I didn't think he was going to WWE. I thought that shit was a work. So he could go back to AEW when his WWE contract's up, because everything says he hasn't done the extension. But there's also talk that Drew didn't do his, and that this whole feud with Punk and everything leading into the Rumble is going to be kind of the last program for Drew McIntyre, and he might be leaving. I don't think AEW is the spot for a Drew McIntyre, so I think he should probably stay put.
I don't think Drew wants to do is when he said in an interview, he wants to go back to Scotland and see his friends and family. because he never got time to do it. That's all he wants. I mean, you could write him off for like a whole 2 months just so he can spend quality time with friends and family. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's all he wants.
I think Sheamus comes back at Rumble and eliminates Drew McIntyre.
For real?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's how you pull. I think that's how you take Drew out of the Rumble.
Nah. I think it'd be better to do Gunther. He takes out Gunther.
I don't know who should eliminate Gunther. Brock. Brock should probably be the guy that puts Gunther out. If we're doing Brock and Gunther at Mania, that's a big question mark too. That's not locked in anymore.
You know what?
3 months ago that was locked in, and now that's not.
You know what could happen? This could happen. Let's just say Sheamus does eliminate Gunther. Gunther gets mad, and Sheamus says, "We'll challenge for the IC title." Bam! You get Sheamus Gunther for the IC title. Bam! Gunther's about to win. Rock music hits. He comes out. They knock out the referee. Then boom, he S5s Gunther. Sheamus pins, and that's how Sheamus gets the IC title, make him a Grand Slam champion, and that's your little start build up for Gunther and Brock, because Brock made him lose his IC title, made him lose the longest IC title reign ever.
Man, I like that. That's good. Yeah, Sheamus should be the guy to take it off of him. We struggle. We've struggled with who beats Gunther, and it should be Sheamus. Yeah. I thought the Cody Nakamura match was tons of fun. I think that was a good way to put that feud to rest for a while, hopefully.
Yeah, that's a good. Thanks you brought that up. My heel dad lover. It was like, he told me, you see Nakamura, Naki-san? I'm like, yeah, I see Naki-san, Dad. Yeah, what about him? You see this little mouth guard? I'm like, yeah, what about it? That's how you gonna do this spit. I'm like, what are you talking about? The mouth guard is red and black. He said, no. Look careful at it. If you look careful at it, you see that's how he does spit. Now, if you see, when he did an interview talking before, he had a little mouth guard on. You saw his teeth. I'm like, I think to myself, like, are you serious, Dad? Like, think about it. Look at the mouth guard. It's red. He gonna spit out red. I don't know when, but he gonna spit it out. I'm like, okay, we'll see. Then lo and behold, boom, he hit the ring announcer or whatever. I'm like, okay, Dad, maybe you on to something. Maybe you do know your heelish moves.
You know what, man? I've never known the sleight of hand, or whatever it is they do for the poison mist. And as a guy who I enjoy sleight of hand magic, I love those types of things. I don't want to know how they go about getting the mist ready. I don't want to know where it's kept. I know we all know the razor blade thing in pro wrestling. I don't want anyone to ever give away the poison mist for me. Nakamura always wears a mouth guard. That's just paying homage to that strong style, shoot style MMA thing. If he's got something in there, cool. Whatever it is, I like that. I've never caught it. I've never seen them load it up. I've never seen Great Muta do it. I've never caught someone in the act of prepping the poison mist. And I don't want to. I like that being a mystery for me. Makes me happy. As Simon Miller would say, it gives me the warm and fuzzies in my tum-tum. Hope I don't get sued for that.
You will get sued for it.
I gave him credit, so I'll be fine.
Yeah, you gave him credit. Everybody give him credit, so it's no biggie.
I don't have the match card in front of me for Dynamite tonight because we're both sitting in our cars.
Yeah.
But what I seen, I thought Dynamite looked really good. They're doing a bunch of Brody Lee tribute matches. I thought the card looked really good.
Mm-hmm. Brody Lee. Oh yeah. All I know is they're gonna have Samoa Joe on there, and I think he's gonna fight somebody tonight.
Yeah, he's gonna face Hook, I think.
Hook, really?
I think so. I think tonight's him versus Hook. So he's probably gonna murder Hook.
Poor Taz. I feel bad for Taz.
I wish we could rewind the clock and have Samoa Joe versus Taz.
They fought once in TNA, I believe so.
Did they? If you say so, I believe you.
I think they did once in TNA when they had that EC3, whatever they called it. They couldn't say ECW. They called it something different. But yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Because when they brought back all the ECW originals, they couldn't use ECW, so they called it EC something. It was a crazy name.
Did you see the new TNA titles they've been debuting all week?
I did.
Those belts are dope. They're so cool.
I say the best one. I like the new X Division. It looks better than the X Division. Looks better. That digital media one, it looks the same. It just looks just a little bigger, the same. And
that X Division title is the best looking belt in pro wrestling.
That's the best one. That's seen. I ain't see the heavyweight championship belt yet, but you can't beat the X Division.
I think they're going to show that Friday. I don't think they're showing that yet.
Okay. But I just know the X Division, you can't never beat the X Division title belt. It always had a cool look to it, no matter which way you look at it. It always had the best look.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for the TNA rebrand. I think that's the story for 2024 is what promotion will be number 2, AEW or TNA? I think we're prime for TNA to have a resurgence. Well, I just think it's going to be a very good year for them.
I think it's going to be TNA because you got the TNA about to probably get a good deal. They're probably going to be on a better network. And they probably going to get a lot of streaming service now because they making a name for themselves. They're not being like AEW being in the news for like dumb things or having your boss scream on Twitter.
Do you think Warner Brothers Discovery is going to pick up Raw and leave AEW without a TV deal?
I heard, this morning, I heard it's Amazon.
For
Amazon Prime.
Raw?
Yeah, Amazon Prime. I heard it was on one of the services I seen. They said Amazon Prime is trying to get Raw so it could be on their little streaming platform so that they can get some more subscribers to tune in and have like a partnership with WWE.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, I heard that Amazon is going to have it on Amazon Prime on Mondays.
Huh.
Yeah, sounds crazy, but yeah, that's what I heard.
Be a good spot for them.
Mm-hmm.
They get a lot of viewership and probably drive people to get the platform.
You know, I'm already an Amazon Prime member, but hey, I'm still right for me. So
I never watch anything on Prime TV, so it give me something to watch.
I mean, most on Prime TV you watch is like some old movies and if you watch sports, that's about it. Football, that's about it.
I've seen some where they have a lot of anime on.
I ain't seen that part yet.
Yeah, I haven't looked to see. Yeah, keep that My Hero Academia with me. Oh, pro wrestling is just live action anime anyway.
Yeah, but you need Dragon Ball Z on there though. Can I really watch it?
Dragon Ball's been around for too long, man. The storylines are too convoluted.
But it's still good. It's still good to watch.
It is. I want to start getting into the Dragon Ball trading card game and the My Hero Academia trading card game.
Nah, that's too much. Because that's too much work.
I always liked Magic the Gathering, but I think like the anime tie-ins, I want to know why no one's done a pro wrestling trading card game.
They did.
Who? When?
They had a couple trading card games back in the day. but nobody never bought the cards because everybody wanted like certain ones. Because when you ripped it open, you never had like The Rock or Stone Cold in it.
See,
You always had like
I think now, right now is a good opportunity for someone to do it. Like the Universes, the one that does the My Hero Academia, their platform, kind of like how they integrate different IPs, I think would be a really cool way for them to work pro wrestling into it. They could bring in the WWE, license the characters, and do cards.
and
You can have
I
a
guess that
Dragon Balls, you can have a My Hero Academia WWE deck to play in the Universes trading card game. How cool would that be?
yeah. And I think they got that little digital trading card game too. They got for WWE. When you like scan the barcode, they got that one too.
See, I want the physical media. I want to collect the cards.
Well, a lot of people.
I'll just make us one.
Okay,
I'll figure it out.
Okay, figure it out. I'm just saying, a lot of people like I was seeing like what was it like a couple years ago, like a lot of places saying that all trading card value is starting to go down now because ain't nobody buying them
It's
anymore.
an up and down market. I watch some of these shows on Whatnot of people selling them. And there's cards with value, but I don't really care about the value. I just like collecting stuff. And I think a pro wrestling trading card game, I think there's a market for it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's tons of like mobile games for pro wrestling that Modern Wrestling Mania I've been playing where you make your own federation and you book the matches. That's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think Dynamite will be good tonight. I think SmackDown will, of course, be good on Friday. So I think we've got a good week of pro wrestling. Jinder Mahal is not going to become world champion next week. That ain't happening.
Hey, look at it this way. I bet you Jinder Mahal gonna be in the main event.
Yeah. And Tony Khan just boosted Raw's ratings accidentally.
Hey, shout out to Tony Khan for doing that. Hey, I seen it yesterday and I was like, what did he do? What is going on? What am I missing about Tony Khan? What did I miss? Like,
He's something. He's something.
and
It's
then
what would happen if we were billionaires and owned a wrestling promotion. We would do the same shit.
I mean,
That's
I would say nicer things.
probably not good.
I would say nicer things about Jinder Mahal. Like, but damn, you talking about 26 and 1 win? Like, damn.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, I think that's it for this impromptu episode. Thank you, everyone who stopped in live on Instagram, joined me and Joe in our cars.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll probably throw some stuff up later tonight during Dynamite. We'll certainly be back on Sunday. But thank you guys for checking us out. This don't say the F word. We don't use the F word when we talk about professional wrestling. Don't let your friends use it either. Joe, if they didn't catch this one live on Instagram, where can they find us?
You know, just find us on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple, and Google Play, and all your local podcast stations.
Yeah. And we'll be back later this week, guys. We're out.
All right.